Welcome, everybody. We're about 1 minute past, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So my name is Trisha DeVore. I am on the supplier relations team here at Facilisgroup. Today, we have the pleasure of being joined by Wendy Simons from Visions Awards. So we are thrilled to hear how we're going to dive into the world of awards and uncover why this category is one of the most profitable opportunities in the promo industry. So get ready to learn some practical strategies for selling awards and hear inspiring case studies that will show you just how impactful this category can be. So some housekeeping as a reminder, this session will be recorded and posted on the SIG for probably about 24 hours or so. So you can share it with your team or revisit any parts that you find useful. So let's give a warm welcome to Wendy as you share your insights and expertise with us. So the webinar is now yours, Wendy.
Thanks, Trisha. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Today, I want to start by talking about why you should sell awards, why you should buy awards from Visions, what's trending in terms of awards, and then tips on how to sell awards. So to start, don't let the graphics scare you. I bring this up because I think it's important to see how the award category fits in with the entire industry. So the most recent data I have is from 2024 from PPAI, showing that the industry grew 26.8 billion. But what's so exciting, especially for me, the award geek, is that the award category grew to the number 7 position. And it equates to 4.2% of the 26.8 billion. So if you do the math, that's $1,125,600,000 up for grabs in the award category. And if you notice, awards in 2024 outsold tech. I mean, I thought pigs would fly before I saw that awards would outsell tech in 2024. And Sage came out with a report in January showing the top product categories. And again, you see award are number 7. So what is going on? Why such an increase in awards? Well, first off, companies are recognizing more and more, and they're recognizing employees for anything now. You have to come back to the office to work, you get an award. You make the best coffee, you get an award. And that is a true award. I had to see the PO to make sure it wasn't a mistake. A company recognized the employee who made the best coffee for the month. This is what's happening out there. Also, distributors are telling us they're looking for a category that's not as competitive. Everybody's selling drinkware. Everybody's selling apparel. Only 2 out of 10 distributors proactively sell the category, meaning they wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to sell awards today. But what's interesting is that 9 out of 10 companies recognize their employees, and over 72% of them do it with an award versus a gift card or a Stanley Cup, drinkware piece, or whatever. So this means that there is more opportunity with minimal competition, which equals more revenue and more profit. And distributors are also understanding that the award category is the highest margin category in the industry, with a gross profit of about 15% higher than traditional promo items. It's also the highest repeat category in the industry. Our average award order repeats 6 to 7 times. That's an average. And it's too strategic of a category not to sell it. First of all, it's the top 10, it's the top 7 within the industry. But also distributors, the ones who do sell awards, who I speak to, they say, hey, if I'm smart enough to sell awards to a company, I'm smart enough to take all their promo business too, which happens a lot. So it's a very strategic category to sell. So also wanted to show you the opportunities that exist within many of your clients, whether it's in their corporate communications department, where they want to celebrate an anniversary, for example. Human resources, obviously, we have years of service, employee of the month, peer-to-peer recognition, which is a huge trend right now, peer-to-peer recognition. Operations, where you have safety, obviously a major recognition point. Productivity, production quotas. In the sales and marketing department, you've got sales achievement, vendor relations, recognizing the vendors, and even finance, collection performance. I mean, when you think about it, recognizing the employee and the company that's responsible for getting paid, right? So there's a lot of opportunities. And in terms of what industries are recognizing most, like I said, everybody's recognizing these are the industries that we find are doing it the most. Tech is probably the largest vertical that we sell into through distributors, of course. They're huge on new hire, big on training, big on patent approval. In fact, we did this little guy here for a gaming company who, when one of their employees developed a game that got patent approval, they got this little caricature that we actually had a hand carve from a photo, but it's a really cute piece that is given to all the employees who get develop something that gets patent approval. Healthcare, huge with hospitals, huge with assisted living, huge with insurance companies that deal with the healthcare industry. This is a piece we did for a hospital, and they had an initiative called Raise the Bar. So when one department within the hospital provided a level of care that the hospital thought raised the bar, that department got their department name on these bars, which happen to attach magnetically. Universities, education, huge. Particularly for universities with alumni and volunteers. You can see Smokey. He's the University of Tennessee mascot that we made custom for them out of cast resin. You can't really tell in the photo, but he or she, I'm not exactly sure actually. You can see the fur on its face. He's got a cute tail in the back, which you don't see. Manufacturing, huge with safety, quality, performance. Finance is big on years of service. This is the bank you see there with the little coins for the 5, 10, 15 years. Automotive, whether it's the dealerships, even the service writer recognition, a lot of opportunities there. And insurance companies, such as underwriter recognition and more. And they're big actually on years of service too. So why Visions? So we are the manufacturer. That's one of the most important things to know about us. We don't outsource many of our designs. So we manufacture either in our facility in Ohio or in our factory in the Philippines, which is our own building, machinery, employees. It's our place. And we also do a lot of manufacturing in terms of optical crystal and glass. A lot of people forget about us for optical crystal and glass because we're known for such unique pieces, but we do a lot of crystal and glass. But we also are known for our use of mixed materials and combining them in such a unique way to create what many people think are a work of art. We're very on trend. We see what's happening in the marketplace, and we make sure that we have products that meet those trends. We have state-of-the-art technology where you and your clients can actually design your own custom award directly from our website. It's point and click. It's easy to use. It's fun. And our very first order for our products in that category was from a distributor who sent the link to their end client. The end client's marketing department designed their own award. They had skin in the game, got the order. But it's a lot of fun and it's easy to use and distributor friendly. All of our pricing's all in. It includes setups, personalizations, copy changes, even our Beyond awards, which are our promo items, no setup. All of our marketing assets are customizable. We've received numerous awards throughout the year and numerous PPAI Gold and Pyramid Awards for our custom capabilities, which you'll see in a bit. We're also an A+ rated SAGE supplier. We have a Bronze EcoVadis rating. We have a Give Back program, which is our rescue. Their mission is to end sex trafficking and child exploitation. It's a great organization, and we're very proud to give back to them. So sustainability, yes, it's trending, not a big surprise. We have a very nice sustainable collection. This is only a small portion of it, but what I wanted to point out are the very unique materials that we use that no one else in the industry is using. For example, wool. Who uses wool on an award, right? Visions uses wool. No sheep are harmed during the production of these awards. We have been asked. We are PETA friendly. So these are wool. They can take a full color imprint. And just to speak to our design aesthetic, we could have stopped, we wrapped the wool around it and we could have stopped there, but no, we added a little zhuzh, a little bling, and we added little rivet details to the back. This is acacia wood and stainless. Here we've got acacia wood and steel with these little magnetic add-on badges. And by the way, you can see here core values listed. That's a big trend right now with recognition. When an employee exemplifies a company's core values, they're recognized for it. And that's a big trend right now. Here you can see some awards made of cork. We also use steel, we use mahogany, and we use coffee in these. And the way we use coffee is we stain the wood with it. We actually make the coffee, let it sit for a couple of days till it gets to the color that we like, and then we stain the wood with it. The cool thing about the cork collection is you can stick pins like little years of service pins, employee of the month pins into the cork part of the award, making them even more sustainable because you're not creating a new award. Every time somebody hits a milestone, you're just adding a pin to it, thereby making it perpetual and more eco. So the other big trend, USA Made Awards, not another surprise, I'm sure. With Visions, you do not need to sacrifice design. Our acrylic numerals are flying off the shelves. Our numerals are a little bit different in the sense that they're 1 inch thick. You don't see many award suppliers out there with 1 inch thick acrylic numerals. We could also do 3/4 inch if needed, but the 1 inch are beautiful. They're beefy, they're substantial. And because we're such experts at cutting acrylic and digitally printing, we could actually achieve a gradient print, which you don't see a lot of. You mostly see this full color flood. A newer design we have now on an extended base, if you will. But these things do really well, and not all acrylic is created equally. I could pick one piece up, look through one end and see Trisha at the other. That's how clear it is, and no crazing, cracking. The quality is really there. Also made in the US are our Elements 360, where you can design completely around the whole piece, even the top. This is a piece we did for Wingstop. It's a fast food chain, and you can see how much real estate they were able to take advantage of. And I was so excited to see this piece, to see how they understand the importance of recognizing the 1-year anniversary of an employee. They say, and not me, it's they say that if an employee is not recognized by their first year on the job, 65% of them will look for a new job. Lack of recognition is the #1 reason why somebody leaves a company. I thought pay would be 1 or 2. Pay is number 8. And this is from Gallup, actually, who did this statistic, which I thought was very interesting. This is another use of the Elements 360, utilizing our link technology. And this is a great case history for a company celebrating their 30-year anniversary. And so going around the entire piece, even the top, which you can't see, were key dates that happened during the 30 years. And then when the recipient scanned the QR code, it was a video showing the evolution of the company over 30 years, which I think is a great way to celebrate a company's anniversary. Also in the US, we do a lot of custom cut to shape acrylic, whether it's 1 layer that we did for the Georgia Bulldogs, 2 layers, or even 3 layers of acrylic. This is a really cool piece we did for a sales meeting that had a space theme, and we had to come up with a way to recognize the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place sales reps with the most sales. So the height of the rocket and the amount of smoke dictated if they were the 1st place or the 3rd place. So you can see a lot of smoke here, not so much smoke here. And the way we were able to achieve this pop off the page look was we had 3 layers of acrylic. The back layer, the 2nd layer was smoke, and then we added a 3rd layer of smoke to give it that pop off the page look. When you see it in person, it's absolutely stunning. In terms of product trends, the same old is not flying. In terms of plain, I mean, we do a lot of optical crystal, beautiful optical crystal, but for an alternative, what's trending right now, mixed materials, whether it's slate and marble, concrete and resin, which nobody uses in the industry. This is the piece where I mentioned you can design your own. You simply select the shape you want, the material. This is walnut. You've got 3 other materials to choose from. What element, what pieces of acrylic do you want to wrap around the piece? This is a 10 for like a 10 years of service, but we have stars, we've got years, we've got a lot of stock options. You could always do something custom as well, but mixed materials is where it's happening right now. This is a new piece we launched earlier this year called the Boulder Collection. It's concrete and resin with black resin running through it. Not to be confused with our Cosmos collection, which is also concrete and resin, but you have color options here. And yes, you can do custom PMS colors. The concrete and resin does very well with builders, architects, construction companies because of the use of the concrete. The other big trend right now is our perpetual awards. Old concept in the industry, but we make it pretty unique, and I'll show you how. Tons of application, whether it's years of service, sales achievement, training, core values. And you can see here a couple of really unique examples. Why are these trending right now? First of all, it's a better value for your client because they're upfront, they're purchasing the award and an add-on piece. And then every year they just add the add-on piece. And you're probably thinking, oh, great, next year all I have to do is all I have to sell them as an add-on piece. But it's really not about that, right? It's about providing a value to the client, and it's a better value add. Plus, it saves on space. No one has space anymore to line up all the awards they receive. My girlfriend's daughter had to build a shelf in her house to line up all her awards. So adding to an existing award is space saving. Whether you're working from home or working in the office, space isn't what it once was. And it's more eco. Again, you're not creating something new, you're adding to the existing. And it's more motivating. You see how much farther you have to achieve. And this is one of our really cool collections called the Metropolitan, where the resin cylinder slides up, and every time somebody hits a milestone, a puck, with what we call them, is added. So the award gets taller as milestones are achieved. And we just launched this translucent limited edition collection where the centerpiece is a clear resin in different color options. And they have champagne-like bubbles throughout the resin. So it has sort of a very celebratory look, if you will. The Nicole collection with the magnetic bars, which no one in the industry is doing either. This is our newest design here with the brushed aluminum accent on the left side, and then the lava bars or the ocean bars are added magnetically. And then some fun pieces that drop, where these circles and square actually drop in from the top of the award. So every time somebody hits a milestone, it drops in and it goes to the top. You don't have to do circles and squares, although you can if you want. You can change it to any shape you want. This company I thought was really cool. They did a basketball graphic and then little basketball. So every time an employee did a slam dunk, they dropped it in, which I thought was pretty cool. Same concept with these, where the bars add on from the top or they slide in from the sides. This piece doesn't have to be red in the middle. It can be any color you want. This doesn't have to be pink. It can be any color you want. It can be a photo. Price includes the award plus one piece. On this piece, it includes the award plus one drop-in piece printed with whatever you want. And then you can buy additional bars one at a time if you want later on. I think you guys know our MVP. We have these really fun shirts with a company logo, employee's name, and every time they hit a milestone, they get a magnetic badge. This is the award that somebody did when their employee made the best coffee for the month. It was actually on the hoodie. They have the hoodie. Every employee has the hoodie at their desk. And one badge had an image of the coffee bean, and it said best coffee on the top, and then the month on the bottom, which I think was April. I had to see the PO. I didn't believe it. It's true. Best coffee, you get a badge. We have the hospital scrub. We've got the safety vest. New, we've got the football helmet. We've got the foam finger, which also can be a number one finger, and the guitar. And keep in mind, if you want guitar picks, you can change it from round circles, which is stock, to guitar picks. And then you can customize it. If you don't want any of the stock pieces, you can change the shape to whatever you want. The cube, I think you guys know, another perpetual award, steel cube, faceplate on the front for a logo, faceplate on the back, which you can't see in these images, for a message, an employee's name. And every time they hit a milestone, you can add on any of these stock images, the poop emoji for when Trisha's not in the best mood, but really fun, great job, you rock, really fun magnetic attachments. Yes, one piece minimum. You can do custom magnetic attachments. We did this for a safety award. We did safety gloves, a hard hat. This company took the molecule part of their logo and turned them into little years of service, which I thought was really cool. Also on to new product and optical crystal. Like I mentioned, a lot of people forget about us for optical crystal. We have a ton of it. Beautiful pieces. These are some of the newer ones. I love this one. It has sort of like a cobra shape to it. And I'm very happy to announce, starting October 1, don't you be giving me orders before October 1, but starting October 1, free shipping on all optical crystal. There are stipulations that apply. It's new orders only. It's got to ship on Vision's account, 10-piece minimum. But it's a great savings, free freight, starting October 1 and going until the end of the year. And then when you have to create something from scratch, no one does custom better than we do, whether it's optical crystal ice or smoky or this NASCAR award. We do the majority of all NASCAR awards. You ever watch a NASCAR race, you see the drivers holding up the awards. 9 out of 10 times we made the award. We did this tropical smoothie cafe replica for Retirement award out of wood. We did it on the lay in our office in Ohio, and we made a complete replica out of wood. You can't tell the difference unless you were actually going to pick it up. And we did this for Modelo. It was a replica of their 12-pack of beer, and we did it for the Modelo distributor who delivered more than 1 million cases of beer. So we do a lot of really cool custom stuff. All right, how do you land the big programs? I'm not talking the onesie twosie awards, which we're happy to do. We do all day long. I'm talking landing big business. The most important thing you need to do, if you remember anything from this, is that you've got to bring up the conversation about recognition when you're talking or communicating with your client. I can't tell you the horror stories of distributors losing out on a big program because their end user didn't think that they were a great resource for recognition. One of the best horror stories I know of came from one of our executives. And I don't know if you've heard the story before, but maybe some of you have, some of you haven't. But I'm going to say it anyways because it's such a horror story. So our executive, before he came to Visions, was with Verizon. And when he was at Verizon, he kind of thought they bought awards from one company and promo from another, but didn't really know that much. I mean, he just signed the checks. But when he got to Visions, he happened to recognize that both distributors were in our system. So he called the HR person at Verizon and said, Terry, remind me why we bought awards from one company and promo from another. And she said, well, the gal that sells us promo doesn't sell awards. And our executive said, but she's in our system, so she must do something. And so the HR person said, well, let me call her and I'll call you right back. So Terry calls this gal, Melissa. I'll never forget her name. They're talking. And she said, by the way, Melissa, can you get us some awards? And Melissa said, of course I can get you guys awards. Does Verizon do much with awards? Well, Verizon's budget for awards, and I know because our executive signed the check, $1.1 million is Verizon's budget yearly for awards only, not promo, just awards. $1.1 million. And this gal, Melissa, got none of it for years because she never brought it up. The buyer never thought to ask, but one of those 2 out of 10 distributors made sure that that buyer knew that he was a great resource for recognition for years. I think our executive said it was like 6 years, got all that business. And that business is out there all day long. And what I've learned recently, as another tip, is that not all HR and marketing people, especially the newer ones, call awards anymore. What? Yes. Perfect example. And I wouldn't have believed it until I heard from the horse's mouth. Distributor I know, she has healthcare as one of her clients. And I said to her, Emily, you guys don't do much in awards, at least with Visions. And she said, well, no, my biggest client is a healthcare and they don't do awards. I'm like, Emily, come on. Healthcare, they do a ton of awards. She said, nope, I've had them for 7 years. Every year I ask them, do you do awards? They say no. I really find that hard to believe. And she's kind of a friend, so I can, talk that way to her. And she goes, I'm going to see him in 2 weeks. Why don't you come with me? I'm like, great. Anytime I can get in front of an end user, perfect. So I happen to be in Ohio that week. So we're going to this healthcare company, big building. We walk through the front door, the HR people meet us in the lobby, and they take us through to the conference room. As I'm walking through the conference room, I just happened to glance over at somebody's office, and I noticed what I thought was an award sitting on their desk. Made a mental note, get into the conference room, sitting there with the HR people. And I said, so Emily tells me you guys don't do awards. Nope, we don't do awards. I said, but I could have sworn I saw an award seen on someone's desk as I was walking through the office. Oh, yeah, that's not an award. What do you call that? Oh, that's a service program. I've been doing this for almost 10 years. Never in my life have I heard the term service program. I said, well, how many of these programs do you do? Oh, we do 6. We've got years of service program, sales achievement program, safety program, leadership program, and I don't know, 1 or 2 others. And I said, well, how many of these do you do a year? Well, we do about 300 a year, which would make sense. If you look at the size of the company, you take 10%, that's approximately how many awards you're going to do a year. And I said, well, can I see one? Sure. One of the HR women gets up, runs out, comes back with this box, opens it up, the popcorn's flying everywhere, and pulls out this award, which actually wasn't bad. It looked like one of our acrylic numerals. I said, oh, it's actually Nice. Are you guys happy with it? Well, actually, no, because the color is wrong. This is blah, blah, blah. And she said, do you guys have an option? I said, Emily, do we have an option for her? So 3 weeks later, we get a PO for $20,000 because they had to backfill the ugly ones and fill the new ones. But my point is that for 7 years, Emily is saying to her client, do you want to do awards? And they say no, because they're not calling them awards. You know, in our industry, I mean, I've been around a while. This used to be called ad specialty. Then it was tchotchkes. Then it was merch. Then it was swag. Now it's merch. Same thing. They're not calling awards. And this kind of had a flashback after this woman was telling me this in her office. I remember being at an end user show. I'd be at my little table, and end user would come by. I say, do you do awards? And she said no and walked away. The next person that came by, I said, do you do awards? And she said no. And I said, well, then what do you do for like sales achievement? Oh yeah, we do those. That was my first thought, that maybe, but I didn't want to use it as a representative sample until I heard it from the horse's mouth that they don't call awards anymore. Will they call awards if you know what, if you say awards, will they know what you're talking about? Maybe. But in case they don't, I suggest when you're talking to your client, say, hey, can you show me what you're doing for years of service, or show me what you're doing for sales achievement, and then ask them if they're happy. Show me, and are you happy? And see what they say. The other tip I have is to lead with recognition. I know one gal, she has 13 employees. She does over $30 million a year in just awards. Not with visions, she spreads the wealth, over $30 million a year. And I called her one day. I said, how are you getting this business? Like, what are you doing? And she said, well, it's funny. I used to hate selling awards until I drank the Kool-Aid and realized, oh my gosh, how long has this been going on? She said, I changed my whole selling strategy. And she said, what I do is completely different than I know most distributors do. And she said, I don't care if you tell them, because they're probably not going to do it anyways. I said, well, what is it? And she said, well, when I'm talking to a client or potential client, I start off the conversation with employee recognition. So it's ingrained in the buyer's mind that I am the resource for employee recognition. And then the conversation inevitably switched to brand recognition, all the events they have coming up and all the marketing needs they have. So she says, I position myself as the company's recognition expert, whether it's for the employees or for the brand. And she said, because what happens is once I get all the employee recognition business, I get all the other business on top of it, because I become a one-stop shop. And I thought that was very interesting. But I said to her, well, but wait, what do you do when you're talking to a potential client and you start with employee recognition? They say, wait, I'm not the person in the company that handles employee recognition. What do you do? The conversation stops. I ask, who is that person? Can I get an introduction? Even if I can't get an introduction, I make sure to introduce myself to this person, because they don't know me from Jack, and they're probably going to a trophy shop. And the last thing HR people want to deal with, she said, are awards. They hate awards. They've got so much on their plate that if I can take that off their plate, I am their hero. So she leads with recognition, which I thought was actually very interesting. I have a lot of stats. If you're interested, I can send you that talks about real stats, not my stats, but real stats as to how recognition can help a company's bottom line. If I haven't done it for you already at no charge, I can set up an awards website, basically a link that you put in your email signature for great awards and recognition. Click here, send it in an e-blast, use it in your social. When the client clicks on the link, it's a huge awards website with all the Visions products, well, actually my favorites, and with your company logo on the homepage, and each of your reps have their own information in the contact section. Everybody gets their own awards website. It costs nothing. Happy to do it. And it's just a great way to remind people that you are in the recognition business. And giving your customers an award is another great way to remind them, you know, you're my client of the year, you're my superstar client. Doesn't cost a lot. We'll give you a smoking hot deal on it. And it's just another great way. It's going to have their name on it. It's going to have your name on it. They're never going to throw it away. It's another great reminder. Make sure you're talking to the right person when it comes to recognition. And I'm happy to help you guys be proactive. If there are clients out there that you're selling everything under the sun to, but not recognition, let me help you and do some renderings for them. I'm happy to help. And just a pro tip here, that if your clients or if or when they are doing recognition, make sure they post it on their social media. Studies are showing now that more than 86% of a potential employee will look at a company's social media before they accept a job to see how they're treating or recognizing their employees. In fact, we sell to through distributor, of course, one of the biggest tech companies in the world, and they were going to switch to a point system until they gave their employees one of the awards that we designed out of Cork, by the way, gave it to their employee. The employee posted it on their social. It got like, I don't know, some crazy shares, like 100,000, some crazy number. And the company said, you know what, we're not going to a point system anymore because no one posts the pen, but this person posted the award and it went viral and it was great PR for the company, and they're not doing the point system anymore. So those are just some tips. I'm happy to brainstorm with you guys too if you want to. And then I have some questions to ask, what do I ask my client when it comes to an award? And since this is, I'm not going to go through all of them, but you'll have it on the recording, or I can send the deck if you want, or I can just send this slide. But just some things to help streamline the process so you can make the selection or help us make the best selection for you. And just real quick, we have Beyond Awards, some really cool promo items from retail brands. This is from Mesa Well, a line of eco-friendly cutting boards, charcuterie boards, with beautiful resin colors. Yes, you can do custom resin colors. We've also we partnered with Maple Ridge. We can ship their premium cheeses, meats, and crackers with our boards. It all goes together as a really nice kit. We do coaster sets of 4. We have beautiful teas from the tea can company. We can do a client's logo in with the current tea can design, or we can create a completely custom label. All of our marketing assets are customizable. We launched so much throughout the year. We have different volumes. We're now up to volume 10. Really unique, showcases unique awards and selling ideas as well. And then here's my contact information. Feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to help, and I love to brainstorm. So take advantage.
Wendy, we do have one question
Yeah.
will you do like a lookbook with several different awards that are more customizable for the customer? Like I know you saw the catalog. Is that kind of the similar to a lookbook as well too?
It is similar. It's very lookbook-ish.
Okay.
You could take a look. If that doesn't work for you, then we can always see what else we can come up with. And you could actually create your own lookbooks directly from our website. You just point and click the product that you want, and you can create your own lookbook too.
Great. And then if people want that link for the signature, should they just reach out to you as well too?
Yes. Again, here's my contact information.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yes. And I'll email me and I'll email you back what I need, which is basically vector art of your logo. And then I'll tell you what information for the contact section. So just reach out, say, I want an awards website, and I'll take it from there.
Awesome. And then Q&A is live too, so if anybody has any further questions or want her to go back on anything, now is the perfect opportunity to do that. But if not, this will, like I said before, this will be posted onto Syncor under our other community circles. So you guys can go back, and some of those questions were awesome. I was even writing down stuff. I don't sell awards. I'm on the supplier relations team, but we do awards here in-house. So it's always, I was taking notes as well too. So I hope you guys got as much out of it as I did. And let me know if you guys do have any questions, but if not, I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap up, and this will be posted into Syncor in about probably about 24 hours or so. So Wendy, thank you so much for all of your knowledge. You could tell you are a great salesperson because I was hanging on to every word of how you sell awards. So thank you so much for your time. And I'm excited to see where this takes us as well too. So on that note, thank you guys all for attending, and we look forward to seeing you on our next community circle.